And let me take this a step further. Those of us talking about Brock Purdy as the starting quarterback next year are not doing that as an opinion. You might consider for yourself, if you're one of the people who are like, oh, you're just dismissing Trey Lance. You must hate Trey Lance. If you're one of those people, here's what you're dismissing. You're dismissing the fact that we talk to people within the organization. Okay? This isn't an opinion. The 49er quarterback is Brock Purdy. Want to know who said that? The 49ers. That's who said that. And they've said it in multiple ways, in multiple actions, in multiple reports. The 49ers believe they've got their guy. They might be wrong. He might need reconstructive surgery. This could go 1,000 ways from here to then. But today is February 13th, 2023, and the 49ers organization believes their starting quarterback, without debate, is Brock Purdy. That says nothing about anyone's opinion about a young kid who's barely played football.
Exactly. It's their opinion.
I just need to get that off my chest.
No, it's good. And I think you're right in terms of our feelings about Brock Purdy have nothing to do with our feelings about Trey Lance. And ultimately, it's the team's feelings that matter. Our feelings don't matter at all. And they feel like Brock Purdy is their starter. Now, we'll see how the surgery goes in 9 days. And if the surgery goes badly, if he needs more work than we thought that he might need, and he's out for 9 to 12 months, then the team, when the word comes out that he had Tommy John surgery, if that's the way that it goes, the team will then say, Trey Lance is our starting quarterback, by the way, until he's not.
Right.
And if Brock Purdy is out for 9 to 12 months, the team will bring in another quarterback. And that quarterback they bring in will tell you exactly how they feel about Trey Lance in terms of whether or not they believe that Trey Lance could be their starter for weeks 1 through 18. If they bring in, a Nate Sudfeld type of guy, Easton Stick, or just another camp guy, then they believe that Trey Lance can be QB1. If they bring in a Matt Ryan, or God forbid they trade for an Aaron Rodgers or something like that, they're telling you all you need to know about how they feel about Trey Lance.
Didn't Easton Stick go to North Dakota State also?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good knowledge.
By the way, here's why this is important. The 49ers, and Kyle brought this up. This is really interesting to me. The 49ers cannot, in my opinion, any longer be this team that tries to beat you 23-20. I think they're done with that. That's why they're done with Jimmy. I think as a fan, I'm done with that. Now, I have no idea which quarterback, based on injuries and all that. I don't know who's doing what. Is it door number 1? Is it door number 2 or door number 3? Here's what I know. You have got to be an elite offense to win the Super Bowl. Listen to this stat, okay?
I saw this, yeah.
Right? The last 7 Super Bowl champions, this is where they ranked offensively in points per game for the season, okay? In 2016, the Patriots won. They were number 2. The following year, the Eagles won. They were number 3. Then it was the Patriots again. They were number 4. When the Chiefs beat the Niners in 2019, they were number 5. When the Bucks beat the Chiefs the following year, number 3 ranked points per game offense. Last year, the Rams, number 7. And this year, the Chiefs, number 1.
Points per game.
7 consecutive Super Bowls, a top 7 scoring offense, and in fact, only once was it outside of the top 5. So, defense wins championships. My rear end. You have to be an elite offense. You have got to be scoring 30 points a game. Now, they did that when Brock was there.
Niners this year, 6th in the NFL.
Right.
All year, they were number 6. When they had Brock, they were closer to number 1.
There you go.
So there you have it.
And so therefore, where were they prior to Brock?
Jimmy.
They were scoring north of 30 a game with Brock Purdy. That's what you're going to need. I don't care who it is, but that's what the 49ers, they are asking too much of their defense. Their defense is very good, but this team still, to this moment, is asking too much of the defense. We
Right,
got to
right.
a point with Brock Purdy where they weren't, and then he got hurt, and then they really, really were. So, to me, that's a big takeaway from what's going on in the NFL.
No doubt. It's like the NBA. And I'm going to go down points per game in order of ranking, and you tell me if that team was a playoff or no. Okay?
Okay, wait. So say that again. How are we going to do
Points
this?
per game.
Points per
I'll
game.
start with the number one ranked team.
Okay.
In points per game. Spoiler alert, it's Kansas City.
Got it.
And you tell me if these teams were playoff teams or not.
Let's do it.
Kansas City.
Yes.
Philly.
Yes.
Buffalo.
Yes.
Dallas.
Yes.
Detroit.
Almost.
San Francisco.
Yes.
Cincinnati.
Yes.
Minnesota.
Yes.
Jacksonville.
Yes.
Seattle.
Yes.
Miami.
Yes.
The Chargers.
Yes.
There's your top 12.
And that's literally how many teams make the playoffs? 14?
Yes.
So there's 11 of your 14 playoff teams,
Right.
and the only one that wasn't got knocked out on a tiebreaker on literally the last hour of the season.
So the only teams missing are the New York Football Giants,
Yeah.
who were 18th. And, man, I'm hard-pressed to even pick the other team out of this list. It might have been a hapless team. Was Baltimore
well,
a playoff team?
The Bucks, because they
25th.
because
Bucks.
they won a ridiculous division.
Right. So of the top 11 teams, all 11 were playoff teams except for the explosive, plucky, we were so close Detroit Lions. So to your point, not only do you have to be elite, you can't be Kansas. Like Kansas City and Philly are 1-2. They met in the Super Bowl. Hello. If that doesn't tell you all you need to know, the Niners were there. They were 6th in terms of PPG, and yet, they got to the penultimate stage,
And then they lost their most important position. But the breakdown here, what I really believe is we're done in the NFL with defense wins championships. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I know it's so funny to me how many times people do this, and they've done it because the 49ers for years now have been the comp because Jimmy's not an elite quarterback. And then we didn't get to see Trey. And then even when Brock came in, you still have questions because it's just too small of a sample and you didn't see it coming. 7th-round draft pick, Mr. Irrelevant. But the comp has always been the Niners, and people will go, Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer and Jeff Hostetler.
Yeah,
You're bringing up eras that don't even exist anymore, number one. Dilfer is putting out content last week sounding like Fran Tarkington. He's like, quarterbacks these days and all the free stats. I'm like, oh, my God, that was only a handful of years ago. But he's right. It's an era gone by. And how many Super Bowls have there been? What was yesterday?
57.
57. And y'all bring up 3.
3 or 4, yeah.
And you're like, well, what about that? Well, what about the 54
Well,
where that didn't happen? Sure, I'm not saying you don't want a great defense, and that's a big part of it, but offense is more important.
Here's my take on what you said, because defense doesn't win championships, but defense wins in the championship.
Okay.
And you look at yesterday, the big reason why Kansas City won the game is because their defense made a huge play, and Philadelphia's defense broke down in the second half.
That's an interesting
defense
take.
Doesn't win championships, but defense wins in the championship. Tampa Bay beats Kansas City a few years ago because their defense was dominant in that game.
I'll grant you that, but I mean, I'm not going to highlight the defense. Yesterday, they gave up 35 points, and in fact, they got an 8-point lead with 8 minutes to go, and they coughed up the easiest drive of the entire day to the Eagles and a 2-point conversion.
But Kansas City got 7 points from their defense without that 7. And
did the defense do that, or did Jalen drop kick the ball? He drop kicked the ball.
Kansas City 31-9.
That's a good example.
The Patriots beat the Rams 13-3.
Right, but the Chiefs beat the Eagles 38-35, and I don't think they did it like you say the breakdown of the Eagles' defense. I say the Chiefs' offensive line won the game. They won the game.
No doubt. 0 sacks from the sackingest defense in history.